And we are here for the Donovan Live postgame show on a Tuesday night alongside Jim Donovan. I'm Dave Finatelli. The Donovan Live postgame show is always presented by Master Pizza. Download the Master Pizza app. Start earning pizza points today. That's Master Pizza. Taste above all. Jimmy, it's good to see you. Good to have you back.
Yeah.
Yes. I got the sense that a lot of fans walked away from that third preseason game against Tampa Bay Friday night discouraged because they left points on the board. They weren't able to execute offensively in the red zone and things like that. But something that you talked about when you start your quarterback, in this case Baker Mayfield, but you don't have the first team offensive line, or in this case you don't have his first team skill players around him. You're often not going to see what you're going to see on opening day because it's not necessarily the same offense.
Yeah, it was disappointing. I can say this to you, that in watching the practices that led up to the game on Friday night in Tampa, so the couple of practices in Berea, I thought that Baker was a little bit off, just missing by a tick here and there. But the practice or the particular session that he would be involved in would be rescued when they would throw Landry into the huddle, and he would come out and he would throw to Landry, and suddenly you go, all right, there it is, everything's fine. And that, I think, is part of the problem. But there was a little bit of a problem that was kind of exposed the other night, and that was the Browns' offensive line really got it taken to them.
Yes.
And there are two problems on this. Number one is that, Greg Robinson had a tough night. At left tackle. He had a couple of penalties, and the reason he had penalties was because he got beat.
Yeah.
And so he's going to protect the quarterback by grabbing somebody before they demolish Baker Mayfield, and that has to be changed. That has to be rectified. To be honest with you, Chris Hubbard had a rough night at right tackle. The offensive line really had an off night, and part of Mayfield missing on some throws, he didn't have a real clean pocket a lot of times. So, if he had Landry, if he had Beckham, if he had Njoku, now he had Higgins, but, Callaway's out too. If he had Nick Chubb, it probably would have looked better.
Right.
But the fact of the matter was, I think there was a little bit of a level of, the offensive line didn't have a good night. Defensively, they couldn't have been any better. They were phenomenal. I mean, and the number one unit was frightening. They were so good.
Yeah.
And maybe they found their kicker, in Austin Seibert. I mean, I still think he gets a little bit extra credit because he's their draft choice.
Right.
He's a fifth-round draft choice. So we'll know tomorrow if Greg Joseph's going to kick on Thursday night. But Seibert handled everything very well. He hit a 54-yarder. He hit everything else. His kickoffs were exactly strategically what they wanted. They wanted some of them returned to cover, and they wanted him to kick deep a couple of times, and he did that effectively. He had a very good night. But the offensive line was that's a bit of a concern. 10 for 26 throwing the ball. Yeah. If you notice, Jalen Strong was cut right after the game. I mean, he had a bad night.
Yeah.
I mean, he really did. I think Damian Ratley's going to make the team. I think that it was either going to be Strong or Ratley or maybe Willis is in there too. But I think the offensive line I think people saw, effectively guys that are going to play in the Browns are going to say, oh, I see what Tampa did. And Doug Deacon said they ran a lot of games at them. And the other thing, Dino, that's a 3-4 defense. See, they're not looking at a 3-4 defense a lot in practice because they play a 4-3.
Well, and it's interesting also on the network, Gerard Cherry was saying, one of the things he notices that, with the Browns kind of having the revolving door at right guard, a lot of times they were allowing, Treader might be helping Kish out or whatever to not put him in difficult situations. But unfortunately, it almost exposes you a little bit, in terms of as coordinators figure out when to blitz, where to blitz, and where to present different fronts if you're not confident that your guy can win a battle one-on-one.
Right. Well, that's true. Now, the way you can beat this, you can rectify this very, very simply by running the ball well, and then they have to back off a little bit if you're running through.
Because they didn't run the football. I think Kareem Hunt had like five rushes. I think
this is the other problem in the preseason is that you're on such a compressed schedule for everything. Like you want, and I thought Mayfield was. I thought he was. too fast sometimes.
Yeah.
And I think he wanted to get in, get scored. The other thing is, you got to remember now, they had incredibly good field position. I mean, they started like 3 drives on the other guy's side of the field. They were on the Tampa side of the field, and I think he wanted to get in there, let's get a touchdown, and we get out.
Yeah, just like they did in the first preseason game.
Absolutely.
Right.
So that didn't happen, and I think they got like kind of, not panicked, but, frustrated with what they were doing. But he missed some throws. There's no doubt about it. He didn't have a clean pocket all night long. He was kind of tiptoeing a lot. He had people at his feet all night long. And that's a problem. The other thing that was strange, which might lend support to what you're saying about Treader trying to help out, Treader sent a ground ball back on one snap.
Yeah.
I mean, and that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So if he's thinking about, I got to get over here to help Cush out, then, that's a problem too. I'm not so sure that there isn't another move coming.
Yes.
By the time we get ready for Tennessee. Now I know that would be cramped if you did that, and it's not within. It would be from coming somewhere else, but they may be taking a look at something else.
Yeah.
They have a lot of capital to
Right.
deal with. The thing that kind of screws them up right now is Antonio Callaway.
Yes.
Antonio Callaway being lost for 4 games. He doesn't count on the roster, but a guy like Braxton Miller could make the team right now at the start of the season because they need speed at wide receiver, and that's what Callaway gives them. Landry is elusive, but he's not real fast.
Right.
He's not a burner. Now OBJ is.
Yes.
But you want another guy on the other side, and Callaway was that guy, and they don't have that guy right now. Higgins is not, bursting with speed.
No, that's not his
so
forte.
Braxton Miller is an intriguing guy.
Yeah, Jack asked, that was perfectly timed. He said, with strong release, does that mean Miller has a good shot to make it? And that was, I think, I had Jay Crawford here last night, and that was one of his first thoughts was that, well, it tells him that either Ratley or Willies for sure will make it, but it might open the door for Miller.
Yeah. Well, again, now I think now they drafted Ratley, so Ratley gets a little extra look at things, and they like Ratley. Ratley suffered an injury, first or second day in training camp, and it took him a long time to get back. As a matter of fact, he was ready to play on Friday night. They didn't play him, and that tells you something that they don't want him to get hurt again, and they're thinking of keeping him. I mean, really. I mean, because if he was really on the bubble, he would have played.
Exactly.
Okay, he would have played. I mean, Ishmael Hyman came out of concussion protocol. He played right away, So Seth Duvall finally got in there and played. So I think Ratley is going to make the team. I don't know about Willies.
Yeah.
But, I think Braxton Miller will get a good long look on Thursday night. He's one of the guys that will get a good long look Thursday night.
But if you're going out to First Energy Stadium Thursday night, you're not going to see any starters.
None.
Yeah. Sorry.
None at all. No,
Yeah.
you're not going to see, wear your Dearness Johnson jerseys. And incidentally, that kid's played hard.
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
But it's still interesting, though, because, there are still battles to be determined. Who's the kicker? Who's going to be the kicker? Who's going to,
Who's going to be the punter?
Right. I mean, all of a sudden, that's now because of the Scottish Hammer's emergence.
Well, here's my read on him. There's no doubt he can kick the ball to Euclid.
Yes.
Okay? From any point on the field. So he kicks the ball over your head. But there are times you need to place a punt.
Yes.
And I don't know if he does that. Now, Colquitt definitely does that. And Colquitt is money holding, which is important, okay? Especially the situation at kicker, which is very, very much up in the air. You want to have a solid holder. You don't want the kicker who is lacking in both guys have been a little less than 100% confident throughout the weeks of training camp and the 3 preseason games. So you definitely want to, you just want them worried about making the kick, not the guy holding the ball for them. And Colquitt does that much better than Gillen, who really had never done it before until he came to the Browns. So the thing about Gillen is he's far less expensive than Colquitt. I mean, he's far less expensive than Colquitt. So I'm saying Colquitt is their punter.
Yes.
But Gillen's an interesting guy. He really is. I mean, he can give you a 74-yard punt. He had a couple of 50-yarders the other night.
Yeah, but like you said, if the kicker is, pardon the pun, but if your drive stalls, just inside the 50-yard line, and you want to put the ball inside not even inside the 20, inside the 15, well, Colquitt, he can do that.
Yes.
He's very, very good at that. But can the Hammer, just kind of, do a little mallet instead of a rocket shot?
Yeah, and the thing I've noticed about him is that he's all about distance. Colquitt can execute the punt that you're talking about, and the really great ones can do that, where they can just kind of lay the ball in, get it inside the 10, but they can do it with height. Okay, Gillen seems to rely on the strength of his leg, and he can take a little bit off the strength. Sometimes he'll line drive a punt, okay, to give up height, in which he accelerates into distance. Now, when you line drive, remember now, you give up returns. And there's nothing, and it's not your coverage team's fault, it's the punter's fault, because the guy's just getting the ball. He's getting a 10-yard head start on your coverage team. So that's the interesting thing about him.
Yeah, so there will be things that are going to be interesting to watch as fans head to the stadium on Thursday.
Yeah, the other thing I would watch out for is the tight end spot. I mean, Njoku is definitely a rising star. I don't know if I'm seeing enough behind him, though. I thought that Demetrius Harris should have caught the ball in the end zone the other night. And I know it was high, but he's like 6'7". I mean, okay? He was a basketball player before he became a football player. Pharaoh Brown is leaning more on special teams, but he picked up 2 penalties the other night on special teams. He was the special teams captain the other night. You need another guy. This team that's coming in now, Detroit, where they drafted was, they picked a tight end, the kid T.J. Hawkinson from Iowa, 8th overall. 8th overall. He's not Gronkowski. He's Hawkinson. But, some teams commit to the tight ends now, and Detroit does. That's a new way to go. The Browns are definitely not committing to the tight end, but you have to have a second target.
Yes.
And I don't know that they've identified that guy either.
Well, and you can't, I'd like to say Seth DeValve, but you can't count on him to stay healthy at this point.
Well, DeValve is a guy, and he even acknowledged that today after practice, that, he's kind of fighting for a spot on Thursday night. And it's nothing to do with what he's done on the field. It's just that he hasn't been on the field. And this has happened every year that he's been here. This is his 3rd year now out of Princeton. So is it his 3rd year or 4th year?
I think it's his 3rd.
Okay, 3rd year out of Princeton. And every year he's lost significant time to injury. Remember last year, it was kind of a surprise that he made the team at the beginning of the year because he didn't play a down in preseason. The other thing that you're going to notice, those tight ends now are going to have to prove that they can go in the backfield and be a lead blocker for Chubb.
Yes.
Because they've cut Orson Charles. And the kid that they brought in, Joe Carriage, the fullback, he's in concussion protocol. I have not seen whether or not he's going to be able to go on Thursday night.
So, all things to watch for as the Browns get ready here for this final preseason game as they play for the Barge on Thursday against the Lions. Also, as you were getting ready to go on at 6, we got this report from the Athletic going to baseball from Ken Rosenthal and Jason Stark that a group led by Indians minority owner John Sherman is in talks to buy the Kansas City Royals from David Glass. Now, the Indians have no comment. Glass has not given publicly his saying that I'm going to sell the team, but Rosenthal and Stark are 2 of the best, and so you have to believe that this is in the works right now. And I just wonder, short term, I mean, if you're an Indians fan, I think you're fine because right now you're in a pennant race, and that's the concern right now is getting back to the postseason. But long term, I wonder if this is a concern if you're thinking about the Indians and what they want to do in the future.
Well, I know they were very happy when he came on board. They were at a point when he invested in the team, and they needed some investment money. I mean, they really did. I mean, the Indians are not like the Yankees, the Red Sox, the Dodgers. We all know that, okay? We have all been down that road about the Dolans. But the fact of the matter is, I have always felt if you're a minority owner, you want to be an owner.
Yes.
Jimmy Haslam, minority owner with the Pittsburgh Steelers, really probably was always eyeing the Tennessee Titans as a possibility because he's from Tennessee. And, there was a situation in Tennessee. But I think that, I think when you're a minority owner, you're interested in becoming an owner.
Yeah, you want to join the club.
Yeah.
You want to be in the club. So, Oh, and Tyler Carey just handed this to me. You mentioned right as you wrapped up Donovan Live tonight.
About the 2 baby Jaguars?
The 2 baby Jaguars and also high school football. There's still time to go to vote at WKYC.com for our high school football game of the week. Now, yesterday, Highland at Wadsworth was the front runner, was not just the leader in the clubhouse, but the leader and the entire course. I mean, just dominating the poll. In the last 24 hours, things have changed to the point where Medina hosting Cleveland Heights has surpassed them. We've gotten almost 13,000 people who have voted. The poll will be open until tomorrow around noon. So there's still time for you to vote for your game of the week at WKYC.com. Thank you, TC, for that.
Wow.
Yeah, which is our second year doing it, which I absolutely love that fans are getting into it like
great.
this. Yeah.
Good, yes, the opening weekend, right?
It is.
Yeah.
This is always, it's different because usually you have high school football opening, and then, which would have been last Friday, and then college football, and then the NFL. Well, this weekend's kind of like, I mean, I know there were a couple of college games last week, but this weekend's kind of high school football and college football opening up. And now it's a different feeling, Jimmy, now around here, because now, I mean, really football is in the air.
Yes,
I mean, football.
It is.
I mean, it's not, and it's not just now. It's not just a preseason thing, or now we're playing games Friday nights. We're playing games Saturday afternoons, and in just over a week, we're playing games on Sundays.
Isn't there a big Thursday game now coming up? I believe St. Ed's is playing Mentor on Thursday night.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
wow.
I mean, the defending state champions in Division I against Steve Trevisano in his final year as the coach of the Cardinals.
Wow.
That's going to be a story to watch all year long. And then the following week, Mentor's got to play Ignatius the following week. So, I mean, Steve wouldn't have it any other way to start the year like that. And, sounds like one way or another we are going to be in Medina County, either with Medina.
Well, we welcome you to Medina County as a member of the Medina County community.
Yes.
I am my daughter played in the Highland, the Pride of Highland Marching Band.
The Pride of Highland,
let me tell you, that's a heck of a band.
Yes, and it's a great facility.
Yeah, now when she was in the band, it was that quaint, cozy little stadium.
Yes.
Which was beautiful. On
Yes.
Friday nights, you'd look out over the hills.
Oh, yeah, you could
there.
see Granger Road and everything. Oh, great.
It was gorgeous.
Yeah.
But they built that, beautiful
brand new stadium.
Yeah, it's just great.
Yeah, so we will either at Wadsworth, that's like Wadsworth Community Stadium. It's outside of the high school. It's in their park. Yeah. Or we'll be at the Home of the Bees in Medina.
Which is another beautiful stadium.
Which is another beautiful stadium. So we'll let you know tomorrow where we're going to be, and we'll keep an eye, certainly, though, Jimmy, on the Indians as the off-the-field stuff's happening in the midst of a pennant race, and things are going to get tougher now with no Jose Ramirez.
Oh, yeah, that's, boy, that was shocking.
Yeah.
That really was. I give Terry Francona, a tremendous amount of credit, because as soon as it happened and the news became public and official that, Ramirez had this broken bone, he said, hey, listen, nobody's going to cry for us.
Nope.
Nobody's going to pity us. We just have to find a different way to do it. But how many different ways does he have to find to do it? With Kluber and Clevenger and Carrasco and now Ramirez and all of the other injuries that they've faced. It's just amazing. Yeah. How they just keep coming back and coming back and doing it. That's why he's such a great manager.
Right. And you know what? If the best they can do is get in as a wild card, then you know what? It'll still have been a heck of a managing job.
Tremendous,
All right. We will be back with you tomorrow. Jimmy, as always, I appreciate it.
Thank
you. Look
you.
forward to seeing you tonight on Channel 3 News at 11.
Okay. Yeah, I'm back on the
you're back on.
Right.
Yeah, training camp's over.
Yeah, that's right.
So Jimmy will have Indians highlights and a lot more as we get you ready for Browns football later this week. All right. Again, thanks to Master Pizza. Download that Master Pizza app on your phone and get pizza points today. That's Master Pizza. Taste above all. For Jimmy, I'm Dino. Thanks for watching the Donovan Live postgame show on WKYC's Facebook Live and YouTube. And we're out.
All right.